This is Sheriff Knezovich. You know, the last 24 hours have been really amazing for the Sheriff's Office. We started gaining some national media attention. Our local media has really helped us with that attention. And it all stems around us putting up recruitment ads in Times Square. Now, I'd really like to be able to give our local media props for the assistance they gave us with this, but quite frankly, it's probably the worst example of journalism, if I can use that word in this case, that I've ever seen. Exploiting a mistake that was made by somebody that created an ad. What I'm talking about, folks, is on the billboards we have in Times Square, the company dropped the G out of Washington. Now, you think the highlight of the story would have been Sheriff's Office makes major effort to gain recruits at national level, which we've been doing, and you've heard this stories covered for the last 7 months. We're in Portland, Seattle, Denver, Austin, now New York, soon to be Southern California. We went to areas that disrespected their law enforcement, where their civic leaders disrespected their law enforcement. Well, our civic leaders, our Board of County Commissioners, our Spokane Valley City Council passed resolutions last year stating definitively they support their local law enforcement. We're trying to bring experienced police officers to our state, to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, to keep you safe. One of the more amazing things that I've seen out of this was a headline from KHQ. Spokane County Sheriff's Office advertising jobs in Times Square misspells Washington. That's the headline. Not the fact that we're in Times Square, but that the ad company misspelled Washington. An ad company that really did a spectacular job for us on a short notice. They got that fixed really quickly when my PIO reached out to them last night after hours. They got that corrected. But one of the questions that was also in the story was KHQ has reached out to the Sheriff's Office about who designed the ad and how much it's costing taxpayers. Well, you know, I texted a member of our press corps last night, and I went, you know, the proper question for a journalist, a thinking journalist, would have been, Sheriff, how much money have you just saved the citizens of Spokane County? How much public safety have you just increased in these efforts? Because, folks, being down staffing costs you money in overtime, but it also costs you public safety when we can't respond and handle the things we need to respond and handle for you. It also puts a burden on the deputies out there in less officer safety for them because they don't have adequate backup. And they were working long hours, many overtime shifts. Let's do the comparison about what $12,000 versus millions in overtime. And then compound that with your safety and our deputies' safety. My job is to keep this agency staffed at proper levels to ensure your safety. And we've done it at the most cost-efficient way we can. You know, I keep getting this question, well, why can't you recruit locally? Well, there's not a lot of recruitment to be done locally for experienced police officers, and that's what we're targeting. And that's why we're running these ads, trying to get people here. Then there's the focus on the mandate. Oh my goodness, you're trying to bring in unvaccinated officers. No, our efforts started 7 months ago. There was no mandate. Quite frankly, there is no mandate for the Sheriff's Office. That was something our governor forced upon his employees at the state level. what has been the result of these mandates? And think about it, folks. I'm already down staffing. You really want me to start firing our deputies, and at a time when we're already short-staffed? So our headlines can read like this: Seattle PD on emergency staffing model after vaccine mandate. Seattle Times today is what that headline came from. Now I'll reread that for you. Seattle PD on emergency staffing model after vaccine mandate. As a leader, the last thing you should be doing is causing more problems. The vaccine mandate has done nothing to help me in my efforts to convince you, the citizen, to get vaccinated. Because if you remember a month ago, I did several PSAs, interviewed several of our local healthcare providers on trying to help people understand why it's good to be vaccinated. I myself am vaccinated. But it's all about the vaccine, the vaccine, the vaccine. A vaccine that will help me, if I catch COVID again, hopefully not go to the hospital and hopefully not die, but it does nothing to prevent me from spreading it to anybody else or from catching it. The Delta variant changed that. When are we going to start talking about the science? When are we going to start talking about reality that we live in right now? The vaccine was sold as a this panacea. Well, last July, we started finding very early that we were having these things called breakthroughs. Those breakthroughs are happening more and more, and now we have science out there that says that I, as a vaccinated person, can carry the same viral load as an unvaccinated person. But that's what our media is all about, is the controversy. It's sad that we went down this controversy. It's sad that our media jumped on an employee for an ad company that left a G out of Washington. It's sad that they continually do nothing but browbeat and put down your law enforcement. We had a tweet come in from a former state senator, Lisa Brown. Now, this is an individual that, while she was in office, that if I was in a room and she was, she'd run up trying to get a photograph with me so she could use it in her propaganda to get reelected. But now she tweets that my efforts, the sheriff's office efforts, to be proactive, trying to save our community money and increase our public safety, it's all about my ego. And she says that the commissioners refuse to control my budget. Well, folks, I've lived within my budget, continue to live within my budget, and the Board of County Commissioners will be the first to tell you that. And as a matter of fact, my whole campaign, we talked with our Board of County Commissioners, we talked with our CEO, and we have their full blessings. It's sad that Lisa Brown, a self-proclaimed economist, can't understand the value of marketing. She can't seem to understand the value of keeping you safe. And this is a person that's rumored that wants to be mayor of Spokane. Well, that's a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really appalled at our local media. Journalism is dead. A Gallup poll has been doing a industry polling for decades. And those key institutions are ranked. Where does TV news, internet news rank in that ranking of about 13 categories? All right. Well, they're in the bottom 3, right next to Congress. Congress is dead last, internet news and TV news, as far as your confidence in them. Where does law enforcement rank? That'd be in the top 3, small business, the military, and law enforcement. Maybe it's this type of journalism that has them down around Congress level as far as your confidence in them. I guess my question to you, the citizen, is this: how long do you allow and tolerate this type of coverage from our local media? Just something to think about, folks. This is Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich.